Welcome to another video on this creepy little girl. So this is Morgan's file, and if we look at her layers, we can see that she has done quite a bit of retouching to this little girl, starting here and ending here. So we're going to take a look in this video on her eye, because she had a very damaged eye. Actually, leave that there. And retouching around here was getting it ended up looking a little sloppier than it should. So we went in and those are your skin edits and then your eye. Okay. All right. So let's turn off some of this other stuff. Right down here, you can see that she copied this eye and moved it over here, inverted the mask, and then painted some of it back in, doing a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of paint, and a little bit of dodging and burning to match. All right, so I think this is a really great solution. And let's go through this little girl who has some tattoos on and things that we added. We could just delete these for now. You have your choice of tattoos. Okay, so her eye at this point, this is also the worst layer structure. If you tried to turn in something that had no names like this, I would be furious, so don't do it. I'm going to just delete these layers until, okay. So what we need to do is make a stamp visible at the very top and double click where it says stamp name and put in stamp visible. And then I have the guides shown right now. I'm going to hit Command H to undo those. And we did work with her eye. And we whitened it, and we did some of this. But I think there are some better options. This is the Walter. So what we're going to do, we cleaned up this eye pretty well. We're going to grab a marquee, go to your stamp visible, select the eye, and then to jump it to another layer, we're going to hit Command J. And then you'll see on this little layer, you have an extra eye. Extra eye. Now, with the move tool, you can kind of drag it over. The first thing you're going to need to do is, bless you, flip horizontal. Okay. And then we did a series of transformations to make it a little smaller, distort it a little bit, do things so that it would not look like the exact same eye because no one has symmetrical eyes. And once we get that, I'm going to hit return to transform. So I'm going to also lower the opacity, zoom in a little bit, and line up the eyeball. Okay. And you can see we are going to take the light out of it. And then so that we have an extra little light source here, and we will keep this one. Okay. So I'm going to bring the opacity of that back up, and then add a layer mask. Now, one way to do it is to work subtractively. The better way we found was to invert this mask by either going into your mask properties panel and hitting invert, or with the mask selected, hitting Command I. And what that does is it shows us just the eye. It doesn't show us anything. It doesn't actually show us the eye. It hides everything, but we can show the eye. So grab your brush and let's see, let's get a nice, not the mixer brush, your normal brush. Get a nice big soft brush, and with black and white in the foreground and background, we are going to reveal part of the other eye. And what that does is very smoothly allows you to enter some of that information. So we can go in. That looks pretty good, okay? We do have the light on the wrong side. That's a real easy fix. I also suggest hitting X to put black in the front, and then hitting 5 to reduce the opacity of the brush, and kind of working around that eye, right? Because as you can see, there's a little bit of different value. So you can mask with different opacities. And then you can hit X to bring parts back in at different opacities and start to build that up. It's very simple to make a new layer and call it clone or healing or retouching or anything. You can grab, say, the clone stamp, make sure it's set to current and below, and very easily clone that out. Make sure you're getting a clean sample. Okay. And then you can paint it back in, or if you go to Stamp Visible and you just want to grab that same little highlight, hit Command J, call this highlight, and oops, sorry, let's spell right, highlight, and with the V tool, move it over. Now it needs to be up at the top. Move it over. Needs to be up at the very top. There we go. And throw a layer mask up on that. Make a smaller brush. And then put the brush back to 100. And you can very quickly kind of work that in. Okay. So there may be still a little bit of work to do to the eye where you have to use the transform menu, because again, you may have to rotate it a little, you can skew it a little, change it because you don't want them to look symmetrical. That's a dead giveaway that you've been retouching. But in this case, it's really starting to look pretty good. And then this damage around it will be much easier to fix. Okay. This is a pretty beautiful job where she added some dodging and burning to change the light, because you can see that this is a little darker than it should be. It doesn't really match the lighting from the other side. So I could add a new dodging and burning layer there and dodge and burn, or I could make a new blank layer at the top and call it burn and dodge. And then with the brush selected, if I want the bottom to be a little lighter, I can paint with white and then change the layer blending mode of that to soft light, and then change the opacity. So that's one of my favorite ways to dodge and burn. Okay, so any questions? All right.